Hello everyone and welcome to Deltona TV. We're here today recording a show for Deltona Means Business. It's in regards to the Valor Awards. We have Sherry DeCrenza with the West Volusia Regional Chamber of Commerce and Rafael Ramirez with Halifax Health.
How are you?
Starting off with a quick question. Sherry, we're talking about the Valor Awards. What are the Valor Awards? What's it all about?
Okay, so the Valor Awards started in 2018. A previous executive director, Sherry Simmons, who works for the city of DeBary now, she brought this idea with her, and it's an amazing idea, and we've grown it since then. The Valor Awards are a luncheon that honors those in public safety by presenting awards to the men and women who have given the most to protect and serve the citizens of West Volusia. So they put their lives on the line every day, but this is like even beyond, putting their own safety aside in order to do what they need to do. So it's a great event. We're so proud and humbled to be a part of it. To have Halifax Health being our presenting sponsor of this event, it means the world. And it's coming up in May.
Okay, in May. We're looking forward to that. Rafael, tell us how the Valor Awards came about, and more specifically, how did Halifax Health come to be the premier sponsor?
Be delighted to, Jerry. First of all, thanks for having us here. I am honored to be one of the directors at the West Volusia Chamber of Commerce, who is the organizer of this event. As Sherry said, about 3 years, maybe 3.5 years ago, the then executive director came to me, kind of paralleling, and said, it's probably time for Halifax to take a large position in a community event now that you're getting ready to open your hospital. I think she understood, as we hope everybody does, that we are not only the only safety net hospital in our county, but are truly committed to worthwhile community events, not just by putting the money, but really getting engaged. As you open the hospital, you realize that you have to have certain partnerships. One of them is with all our first responders. And we wanted to not only recognize them, but provide an outlet for them to be, for the above and beyond deeds of these men and women to be recognized by our communities. Sherry and I sat down, a couple of hours later, we had a brief picture of what the Valor Awards would be looking. With our marketing department, we engaged in doing the first event, which I think was sold out from the first go. And the coolest thing is really to hear the stories as the chiefs introduce their staff and tell the tale of walking the walk and what their folks did to be considered pretty impressive. I can assure you that most of us who were in the planning of it did not expect to hear some of the stories we heard. It was pretty impressive. Halifax, I think we are engaged in as many worthwhile functions as these as we are able to get into. So it's just a part of the mission of our hospital. Has been open since 1928, a little cell there. So
now that's the Halifax Health, University of Florida.
So so our hospital.
A little promo for you there.
No, I know. Halifax Health, UF Health Medical Center of Deltona. So we're pretty proud, and we made a 5-year commitment, Jerry. COVID took care of last year, so we have three years left, and certainly we'll look forward to re-upping for another 5 years. One of the cool things too, as Sherry knows, is we figured out a way to provide for the event, fund it, and then maybe at the end, if there is any overages, but maybe a small contribution can be made to our foundation at Halifax Health, which is solely used to buy some of the crazy equipment. You've witnessed state-of-the-art, last generation equipment. So that's a long answer, but that's kind of my part of the involvement on the planning of the Valor Awards.
It's always great when the private sector steps up to help on things like that.
Yep.
Sherry, who chooses the nominees? I mean, how are the decisions made for who is the one who is showing valor?
Sure. So in the past, it's been a committee that has been formed by chamber members, board members, and Halifax Health's marketing department all came together. So that's how it will happen going forward. Now, I have not had the pleasure or oh my gosh, just the honor of sitting on that before. This year I will. And
It'll be the coolest thing you do in a while.
You'll will, see. And I've already heard it'll make you cry, and I'm sure, And so what people don't know is, like, my mother was the first female firefighter in the state of Florida.
Okay.
So
That's very cool.
Yeah, very cool. My brother was a police officer in Lake Mary for years. He just joined our chamber, and his best friend is just retired from the city of Lake Mary for 31 years. So I've actually asked him to be, his name's Ronnie Gregory, to sit on this board this year because I thought, who better knows than somebody from the field? So we're going to bring a new component this year to the nominations, someone that has been out there. He worked in DeLand for 4 years, Lake Mary for 31 years, retired this past year. So I've already been told to have a box of tissues because, these guys, obviously, when we talk about valor and putting and going above and beyond, everyday first responders, whether it be police, sheriff, EMS, fire department, they on a daily basis put their lives in danger. And we talked about this year after COVID, just going to work was putting their life in danger. So I feel like after the year we've had, this year's going to be so special because they need to be recognized. And David and I earlier were talking about the fact that unfortunately, law enforcement has had a bad year this last year, and people, I think people have to take into consideration that whether it be law enforcement or fire, they see things that we would never see in our worst nightmares. Oh, Lord. And the nominations, we hear about these things, and these are things that they try to leave at work while they go home to their families. So are they stressed? Are they? Yeah, because if any of us had to hear or deal with all this stuff all the time, so I just feel like we need to show them the highest respect.
Yeah. Admirable.
Yes.
Okay.
Very.
Rafael.
Sir.
Personally, what's it mean to you and to Halifax Health, of course, to be involved in this event?
I think I could almost paraphrase what Sherry said. It's an honor to put yourself in the moment. If they were taking care of you and brought you to a point that they were the conduit to save your life, I don't know what else. Higher event could ever happen. So Halifax, for example, one of the driving things is, as we have the only level 2 trauma center in Volusia County, we see the worst of the worst in our Deltona ED, and so we have other events to recognize and to train other ED staff members about trauma and all of that. But I think it's closest to our heart being one reason that we have that trauma center. It's I couldn't even begin to imagine what they do down there. So I
know opening here in Deltona was something that people wanted and needed for so long because you only have minutes. Right? Yeah. A lot of times. So the closer vicinity now and having that here, because Deltona is a huge city.
Seconds count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
they call them the golden hour in some issues. And so we can get into this in another program, but Jerry knows how it all started for a hospital. But with the population here, it just it was a natural that we listened to his phone call and came over. So we're very excited. But I think more than anything, it's just I can't imagine a more noble moment, somebody saving somebody's life or putting them in a position to be saved.
Speaking for the chamber, yes, you're on the board, but it was so great that you had this heart and you fought with, took it to Halifax and said, listen, we need to do this. We need to get involved. Yeah. This is a great event. And so we're grateful to have Halifax be our sponsor.
I think it's evolved that the problem we have is we can't have a big enough place.
Bigger.
Yeah. So, but
you say having it here, but where else are Valor Awards held?
Actually, if you go online, you'll see that several are held throughout the United States.
Okay.
I know that I think Sherry Simmons came from Alexandria.
I forget, yes.
Virginia, and she was involved in the chamber up there, and that's where she brought the idea from. So I've actually tried to do a little research on it online, and it's amazing. They are held all over, and sad to me that it's not reported more, probably. We currently are only covering West Volusia because, remember, it's 6 cities. It's a lot.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot.
What I would like to see it is grow, and even with Halifax maybe getting involved in the east side of the chambers and doing it on that side of town as well. Because like I said, it's near and dear to my heart. I mentioned my mom being a firefighter. I mean, listen, it was back when it was volunteer firefighting in Lake Mary. It was before Lake Mary is what it is today. We would get woke up in the middle of the night because they had a siren that would sound for like 6 miles away, and they'd take us to the station, and we'd be put on cots while they would go fight to save someone's house.
Oh, yeah.
So when I say near and dear to my heart, I really grew up with this. So, yeah.
Well, and I can understand that. I was a Army brat.
Yeah.
Born on an Army base, raised on Army bases, etc. So, yeah, I remember some of that type of thing, too. Yeah. Halifax Health is the presenting sponsor. How have you seen this event evolve over the years that Halifax and you have been involved in it?
I think it's pretty cool. The first year, a lot of planning, and we weren't sure, and suddenly the day comes, and it was awesome. Okay. Second year, gosh, what can we do to make it better? Lots and not really, because the event sells itself. The purpose of the event is so pure, and I think it's just a question of continuing to have enough room, and as we consider possibly a county-wide or separating, then just providing for the processes so that every chief or sheriff or chief of police is able to provide their nominations. I think that the sky's the limit here. As I said, it's just such a pure and noble recognition, and so we're lucky and happy that we were there first together with her counterpart, and then now with her for the future. So I think it's just a question of growing and growing and growing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Getting bigger and better. Sherry, tell us about the event upcoming. Okay. Where's it going to be? What's the date? I mean, we're telling people all about this and everything, but
I mean, if you guys go and Google like the Beacon ads and reporting on this, and you'll see pictures of it was at DeBerry Golf and Country Club.
Yes.
No walking room. Like it was so crowded, and so they knew we need to move this. So last year we'd already scheduled with Center at Deltona to have it there, and it was going to be a half a ballroom, but much larger. Because this year, like I said, we're going all out, making this like super big. We're going to have the whole ballroom at the Center at Deltona. And we're so excited to team up with Deltona and Joe Hearn and his team. Absolutely. And Chanel Smiley is helping me along with Lisa Vacara from Halifax. We're going to be meeting soon there. Just laying it all out. What's it look like? Going forward, we're going to be looking for catering. There's a lot involved in planning one of these events, and so going by this checklist. And Halifax is so generous. They've been so amazing, but it takes more than that. It's a big event. And so there are opportunities for sponsorship.
How do you, let's face it, Halifax Health is your presenting sponsor, but how else do you raise money for the event?
So the other ways we raise money is we have several different levels. We have our legacy, our supporting sponsor, our program sponsor, table sponsor, and then a partner from the heart. It starts at $3,000 and goes to $400. And just for an example, partner from the heart, a lot of people can very well afford that, and it allows the first responders to bring their families and stuff without having to pay for a ticket. Okay. So that's why partner from the heart, you want to support their family and let them be there. And then it goes up from there, and we run you on our website, we run you on our Facebook. It's in the local news media. Matt Austin with Channel 6 is our MC. So, it's just growing. We're so excited about it. It's going to be May 26th at the Center at Deltona.
May 26th.
Yeah.
At the Center in Deltona. Folks, thank you very much for joining us today on Deltona Means Business. A very, very worthwhile conversation on a very, very worthwhile topic. My name is Jerry Mays. I'm the Economic Development Manager for the City of Deltona. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.